Well, you're absolutely right, Maya, that this meeting is taking place against the backdrop of geopolitical tensions, conflicts around the world, high inflation, food prices are high in many countries in the developing world, and there's a lot of uncertainty. We also have over 50 countries who are going through elections, some of them quite large. So there's an atmosphere of uncertainty. But that means that at the WTO, we have to step up to the plate, and that's what we're hoping to do here, to be seen to be part of the solutions to the problems that are facing the world. So we're hoping to work on negotiating an agriculture and food security agreement. For 20 years, it's been trailing. We hope we can make progress. We don't expect to close the agreement now, but to start the work for closing it. It may be a couple of years down the line, but that responds to issues of food security and agriculture. Fisheries. We are negotiating the second leg of a harmful fisheries subsidies agreement. What is this about? We have illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing of our high seas, which is depleting our oceans. We also have overfishing and overcapacity of vessels. And we want to preserve the biodiversity of our oceans and support the blue economy. Over 260 million people depend on these fisheries. So we are negotiating the second part of an agreement to try to stop the harmful subsidies going to overfishing and overcapacity. And this will help deliver SDG 14.6, keeping our oceans sustainable.
Also, one very important issue on the agenda is the WTO reform and whether or not you're going to be able to reinstate the appellate body, or at least form a new appeals body within the WTO. So how hopeful are you that you're going to advance in these negotiations?
On this issue of WTO reform, let me tell you something that many people do not know. The dispute settlement system of the WTO is still functioning. It's made of two levels, the panel level and the appeals level. The panel level is still functioning. It has several disputes before it now. 8, it has settled several others. And so it's not like the system is not working at all, but it is the appeals system, and we are reforming it. We've done quite a bit of work since the last ministerial, when ministers gave the instructions that we need to work on restoring a fully functioning system by 2024. We've done part of the work. We are here to present it to ministers and get their blessing, see what they think of it, and then move on to complete the work after MC13. So the reform is ongoing.
Some countries believe that the appellate body should have less members in order to become more efficient. Do you see that as a reasonable request?
Well, let us see what we come with. I think the issue is, do we have a body all members feel is delivering for them in a fair and balanced way? Do we have a system that is accessible to all members? Because remember, some members are very poor countries, very small countries. That's what we're aiming for. So that's what we're trying to design, a system that is fair and accessible to all, transparent, and works efficiently and quickly.
There's also the moratorium on electronic transmission, which expires in March. Are you hopeful that you are going to be able to extend this?
Well, I don't want to prejudge the outcome of the negotiations, but a large number of countries support the extension of the moratorium. There are some other countries, especially 2 or 3 emerging markets, who believe that this extension will have an impact on their fiscal situation, on revenues. So those who want to continue the system need to negotiate with those who want to end it, and then see what they come up with. We hope that we will have a successful outcome because a large number of countries want it to continue.
Which countries are opposing the...
Well, you know, it's not very discreet of me to say.
All right. In October, you forecast that world trade is going to increase around 3.3% this year from 0.8% in 2023. In light of the escalating tensions in the Red Sea and the war in Gaza, are there any changes to these projections?
Absolutely. First, let me start by saying that, look, in spite of all these problems, pandemic, conflicts, trade has been largely resilient. And countries that have experienced difficulties have been able to find markets elsewhere to get their food, their wheat. But that being said, there is no doubt that there's a fall in aggregate demand all over the world. The projections for growth of the global economy have been revised downwards by the IMF and the World Bank. And of course, that has an impact on trade. So we see lower demand. We know we have high inflation in many parts of the world as well, high interest rates. All of these are factors. So we've seen that our projections of 0.8% for 2023, we are going to come in lower than that. And we think that for 2024, we projected 3.3%, which was quite optimistic. But now, given all the factors you mentioned, what is happening in the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, the conflicts that continue to go on in the world, climate change factors, don't forget that. We also need to factor in those things that will come in below the 3.3%. We're in the process of revising our projections now, so I hope by March we should have some new figures.